Joe Zekas, I'm in Libertyville at an almost heartbreakingly beautiful setting for anybody who lives in the city and has to contemplate that on a busy weekend. With Mark Stone, who's the builder of one of the most unusual homes I've seen in many years of looking at homes.
I built this house 20 years ago. I had a business in Libertyville for many, many years. I retired. I built this home for my wife and myself. I've lived happily in this home for 20 years, but not quite so happily recently since my wife became totally disabled and is now in a nursing home. This house is too big for me. The house is absolutely gorgeous. I loved entertaining my children and grandchildren here. The kids would fish in the lake, they'd fish in the pond. They catch fish in the lake and put them in the pond. This house is designed just for 2 people. And a few of the lookers have complained it's not big enough, but for an empty nester, it's the most marvelous house in the world. The swimming in the lake is delightful. The water is clean enough to drink. There's a public beach for people who like sand. We've got a dock here. I have my own canoe. I go rowing in the lake with it. I say rowing because I put rowing seat in, not paddles. And I leave this house with some sadness, but it's also starting a new life for me for another house I bought and I'm rebuilding in Highland Park right now. Back in 1947, when I was a 17-year-old boy, my father bought some vacant property owned by a consumers company. It was sold at a tax loss. And he bought these 2 abandoned lakes in Libertyville that had been gravel pits. When he bought them, I thought he was crazy. Of course, I was 17, he was 47. He had a little more wisdom than I had. He said, well, we'll pick up the trash, the cans will rot away, trees will grow, it'll be beautiful. And he was absolutely right. He sold all the land except for one lot he's kept for the family. And this is the lot I have, lot 49. I attached an extra few acres to the property, and from my house in the summertime you can see no other house. The only place you can see a house, if you look out the kitchen window and face to the northwest. Other than that, we look out on a pristine lake and pristine everything. And this could be in the North Woods, it could be up in Canada, it could be up at Lake Geneva. This is an ideal country house for somebody who wants to combine a country house and a city house. Perhaps an apartment downtown in the house here, or just here. It's less than an hour commute to the city on the train. And I'm fortunate that I worked in Libertyville, and I only had a 5-minute commute.
And I can imagine the grandchildren must have just gone wild when they came out here.
They absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, they're now in their late teens and 20s, and they're so busy with their own lives they don't come here anymore, at least not very often.
If you had to pick one room in the house that you like the best, where do you like to spend your time?
I spend most of it in the living room, some in the library. I'm very pleased with the library, every detail about it. The shelves, the floors, the cabinets, the lighting, everything about it is absolutely wonderful. I'm a very enthusiastic reader, and I watch television not at all. You may have noticed walking through the house, there's not a television set visible. There is actually one hidden away in a cabinet in the library. And I don't think I've opened up a cabinet in a month. I'm into reading. Reading is where it's at. Reading and theater.
Are you a fisherman?
Not at all.
Not at all, but the lake is stocked and has great fishing.
The lake has lots of fish. The kids that catch crappies and perch. But my youngest son is an enthusiastic fisherman. He came with good gear and caught some northerns and some largemouth bass, up to about 30 or 36 inches long.
Wow. And
there's lots of fish here, and lots of people go fishing. I see them ice fishing in the winter, but I see more fishermen than I see fish. It seems like a cold, lonely sport to be an ice fisherman. This is the second home I did with Irving Moses. The first home was in Riverwoods, and he designed a home that was way too big, and my wife and he outvoted me, and we built a house that was too big. And after being in the too big house for 13 years, I said, okay, it's my turn, we got a smaller house. We built this house here, which is near where I worked. And I've been pleased with the house in every way. Irving Moses, I first found him bicycling around Highland Park. There's a house I loved on Woodbridge Lane. And I found that Irving Moses is the architect, and the owner was Mike Oppenheim, who was a construction partner in Turner Construction, one of the biggest construction companies in the world. I figure if Irving is good enough for Mike Oppenheim, he's good enough for me.
Who had the inspiration for the roof forms, which are very, very unusual?
Me.
Had you seen those somewhere else?
Well, vaulted roofs are common all over the world.
But not so
You can
much.
start even with Quonset huts.
But not so much to this extent in Chicagoland. That's
true. There's one other house in Hibernia that has some vaulted roof, but not the whole roof of the house. Copper roofs, I can't say they're guaranteed to last forever, but they're guaranteed to last longer than any of us living now. Okay, I'm going back in the house now.
Mark, thank you very much.